Hello, everyone. My name is Cade. Welcome to Pierce Heart Apologetics. Today, I'm talking about just why this channel exists. I just want to give a kind of general idea of why I'm making this channel and the kind of direction that I'm trying to go after, and the things that I want to at least talk about in this, first kind of season of this. Um, so the Let me start with the name. Just inspiration. I didn't think about it too long. I just kind of had an idea of one day. It's like, I think that when people encounter truth that is convicting, that it can really pierce their hearts. It can really make you stop dead in your tracks and make you think about why you're doing what you're doing. Um, and then I think obviously of Jesus after his death on the cross, them piercing through his side and potentially through his heart, pierced for our transgressions. That's kind of just the name of the title or channel name. So not too deep with that one. But just um, continuing on, why I'm making this channel. Obviously, I want to defend the faith. That's what apologetics is for. Um, but even perhaps more than that, helping me grow. This channel is existing in large part not just to, I'm not just here to answer your questions, but I'm actually here to really challenge myself and give myself a good reason to be diving in deep and exploring things that I would probably otherwise let other people explore and then explain to me. Um, Having this and being a service to other people is going to be very, it's going to be a challenge for me. It's not going to be easy, I don't imagine. But the other part of it was just, putting another perspective out there, as well as tackling things in perhaps a different way. Most importantly, I think that there's a lot of resources there, probably out on YouTube, I'm sure that you can find regarding philosophy and building a worldview. But I kind of want to tackle it in a more systematic way and help other people tackle it in a systematic way. And so a lot of my early videos, I'm hoping to kind of just target as, how to build a worldview from the ground up. Just like, well, what is a worldview? What is the primary aspects of a worldview? What is this and that? What's this branch of philosophy? And, after kind of going over like, trying to figure out how we can build a worldview systematically, I'd probably want to then branch out to, well, what are these, like, what are all the different positions and what are, if we're just scratching the surface, what are the kind of positions that are held and why they believe these things? And then maybe even go into like more deeper uh, studies of a particular philosopher in a particular branch of, or not branch, but a particular group of thought. Like, oh, maybe I'll do like a video on David Hume and what he thought on all these different issues, or at least talk about what he thought about, like his thoughts regarding like epistemology or whatever. Um, that's just kind of interesting to me, and it is going to take a lot of time to do all this, I imagine. But it's just something to kind of challenge me and try and put something that's um, a little more put together than what I see a lot on YouTube. At least is what I'm trying to like to try and make it more systematic and try and be a one-stop shop of like, hey, you don't have to look at like 18 different creators to figure out all this stuff. I'm hoping to try and condense into one. Not that, listening to all those different creators isn't bad. And I don't want to be, their stuff is worth watching too, probably more so than mine, at least now. But just to try and put it in one place so that, the beginner Christian, or even if you're not Christian, I mean, if you're an atheist, welcome. I want to make us all think about why we believe what we believe and try and have a better understanding of reality every day. And doing that from the foundations of our philosophy, I think, is important. And I think it's something that we don't do enough of, especially not in school, especially and if you're not in philosophy and like you're not in school for philosophy, you probably don't think that much about the most basic aspects of why you believe what you believe. Like, I can't give you an explanation of what my epistemology is. I obviously have some sort of belief system regarding my epistemology, albeit subconsciously. Um, but that's kind of what I want to figure out. And I kind of want to use this as not just a documentation of it, but also to try and make other people think about it. And so that we can all be striving towards having the best theory of reality that we can, because that's what our worldview really is. Um, so that's going to be kind of the early mission of this. I will be doing some amount of things like answering objections to the Christian faith, and I will be doing some things regarding polemics towards like Islam, or just making a point here or there about atheism. But for a good while, I imagine that's not going to be the focus of my channel, especially not things like Bible contradictions, because quite frankly, there are so many apologists who are far more seasoned than I am, who have already dealt with all these objections, right? Um, and maybe I'll find one that I haven't seen, but the chances are overwhelmingly likely, at least in this time, uh, that if you give me that, if I were to try and make objection videos, I would end up just basically plagiarizing apologists who have done it better, who have already done that work and have probably done it better than I have. And so, I'm just not interested in that. I'm not interested in copying like Inspiring Philosophy or Testify or whatever. I don't really want to do that, unless it's something that it's like very impertinent, like the Islamic Dilemma, where it's like, we don't really care about plagiarizing each other. We're more worried about more eyes seeing it, more people encountering the argument. Um, and you can make an argument with the Bible contradictions, but I just feel like the chances that my video is going to be seen over IP, and that my time would be better spent doing these Bible contradictions, when again, the chances are I'm just going to end up looking their video up to make the same video. Like, it just doesn't make sense for me to do that. Um, I'm sure I'll get around to it eventually, especially if I really get a lot of people asking for it. And it's like, did you look it up at all? Did you go to Google to try and look at this stuff? Like, did you do any amount of your own research? No? Okay, fine. Fine, I'll make a video about it. But in the meantime, that's probably not going to be what I'm focusing on. I'm not going to be focusing too strongly on objections in this early time. I just want to be a resource to help us all start to, make a better worldview from the ground up. And perhaps I'll enlist, I'll try and ask for help from some of the bigger guys like IP or David Wood or something like that. I know David Wood knows a fair bit like David Hume, and maybe I'd have him as a guest speaker if he'd lend his time to me. So that's, just kind of what I'm thinking of as far as the direction that this channel is going to go. As far as things like, what kind of community I'd want to have here, obviously, I don't really know what to make of that. Like, I don't know what you guys would want of this channel, especially as I eventually do start, amassing more and more people, hopefully to God's glory. I'm not sure what all would be entailed with actually growing the community, and what kind of things you guys would want to actually engage in with, like Discord or whatever, like just having chat rooms or anything like that. I don't have any kind of idea what that is. There's a lot of directions I could see this going, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm just going to worry about doing the work because I can't really do anything else until I've done the work. With that being said, if you're an atheist or if you're a Christian, I hope you resonate with me, that you want to have a better picture of reality, and that, looking from the foundation of your worldview to try and iron out some things that may be skewing the way you look at things, could help you have a better understanding and grasp of reality, and that you'd be along for the ride to also learn more. Or if you already know a bunch, to give me pointers and, help correct me when I've made errors. I can't thank you guys enough. And, if this goes somewhere, that would be really awesome. With that being said, that's about all I had to say as far as this channel direction goes and why this exists. I want to defend the faith. But, in this early time, I think I need to build up a better worldview, and I need to do some good work to just have a better picture of reality. And I hope that as I document that can be a blessing unto you guys, so that you guys can really look and think more about why you believe what you believe and try and get a better picture of reality too. And we can have great, meaningful, interesting discussion regarding this to challenge ourselves. because I really do think this is going to be as much a challenge to me as it will be to you. With that being said, folks, I hope you have a great night and take care.